goes through every home, every heart, from the streets to the studio.
Yes, a beautiful morning to you listeners out there. And of course, the program you're onto is In the Papers, coming to you from iPower 102.7 FM. It is a program where we preview and review newspaper headlines and news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. My name is Inioluwa Adekoya, and this morning I've got with me the Old newspaper, the Daily Post newspaper, the Punch newspaper, and the Nation newspaper. Right about now, I will take a short break. When I get back, I'll give you headlines making rounds in the papers this morning. Glad you're still there. The program is In the Papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Like I said earlier, it is a program where we preview and review newspaper headlines and news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. We have two sections on the program this morning. The first session is where I read out the headlines making rounds in the papers to you, and the second session is where we have our in-house political analyst throw one or two cents on the topics making conversations today. On the top of the list of our headlines this morning, beginning from the Old newspaper, talking Ondo State. Ondo gets new CP, vows tough stance on crime. Yeah, still on the Old newspaper, talking assembly primaries. Ondo government orders closure of designated public schools. Yeah, still on the Old newspaper, talking APC senatorial primaries. Fasoronti Kekemeke Elegbeleye secure APC ticket in Ondo. Yes, I take that headline from the Ope again. APC senatorial primaries. Fasaronti Kekemeke Elegbeleye secure APC ticket in Ondo State. Yes, still on the old newspaper, no terrorist base in Southwest, says DHQ. Yes, now quickly moving to the Daily Post newspaper, still talking headlines. EFCC arrest ex-Power Minister Saleh Maman. Yes, still taking headlines on the Daily Post newspaper, talking terrorist attacks. Nigerian police owed prayers for 17 officers murdered in Yobe State. Yes, still taking headlines, talking Oyo abduction. It is clear Southwest must prepare to address insecurity, says Gani Adams. Still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Father begs IGP intervention as son remains in kidnapper's den 6 months after. Yes, still on the Daily Post newspaper, from a Benue speaker, the Jaw withdraws from APC House of Assembly primary election. Yes, and now I take a flight to the Punch newspaper, talking 2027. ADC predicts earthquake as to Rocky PDP class Jonathan. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, talking El-Rufai, NSA ICPC chair confirmed tap conversation, says witness. Yes, still on the Punch newspaper, talking civil war. How Obasanjo defied my orders to serve under Muritala, says Gowon. Yes, and now quickly to the Nation newspaper, talking Amechi. I didn't buy form to be Atiku's running mate. Yes, and with that, we will take another short break. When I get back, I'll give you headlines and news making rounds in the papers this morning. Glad you're still there. The program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Beginning on the top of the list of our news this morning from the Old newspaper, talking APC senatorial primaries. Fasharonti Kekemeke Elegbeleye secure APC ticket in Ondo. And now to the details. The All Progressive Congress APC announced the results of the senatorial district primary elections conducted across Ondo State, with Dr. Taiwo Fasharonti, Isaac Kekemeke and Gbenga Elegbeleye emerging as the party candidates for Ondo Central, Ondo South and Ondo North senatorial district respectively. The results was announced at the APC State Secretariat in Accra by the Chairman of the National Assembly Primary Election Committee, Honorable Iboroma Aridabibi, following the submission of results by returning officers from the three senatorial districts. Announcing the outcome of the Ondo Central Senatorial District primary election, Dabibi said, and I quote, Dr. Taiwo Fasharonti scored 36,652 votes to emerge winner of the exercise. He stated that Senator Adeni Adegbomire secured 5,733 votes, while Sylvester Muyiwa Adu polled 1,245 votes. In the Ondo South senatorial primary election, the committee chairman disclosed that Isaac Kekemeke emerged victorious after polling 35,000 votes. According to him, Akinfolari Mayowa Samuel recorded 6,435 votes. Barrister Morayo Lebi secured 1,875 votes, and Akingboye Taiwo Oyewumi polled 842 votes. Dabibi further stated that Princess Catherine Oladuni Odu gathered 2,900 votes, and retired Honorable Jumoke Akindele recorded 339 votes, while Agbola Ajayi secured 670 votes. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline APC senatorial primaries. Fasharonti Kekemeke Elegbeleye secure APC tickets in Ondo State. Still on the Old newspaper, still talking assembly primaries, Ondo government orders closure of designated public schools. And now to the details. The Ondo State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has ordered the closure of public schools designated as venues for today's primaries of the All Progressive Congress APC. The Ministry Permanent Secretary, Dr. Akindele Ige, gave the directive in a statement issued in Accra yesterday. The statement reads, and I quote, in light of APC primary development and as part of safety and security measures, all learners, teachers and other staff in the affected schools are hereby directed to stay at home on Wednesday across the state. The directive is issued to ensure the safety of lives and property and to facilitate the peaceful, secure and orderly conduct of the electoral process within school environment. Adequate arrangement will be made by the school administration to ensure the continuity of WAEC SSCE exams in the affected schools, while also ensuring the safety and security of students in boarding schools. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline Assembly Primaries, Ondo Government orders closure of designated public schools. Yes, still taking headlines from the Old newspaper. Ondo gets new CP vows tough stance on crime. And now to the details. Commissioner of Police Felix Ohago has officially assumed duty as the 47th police boss in Ondo State, with assurance of professionalism, accountability, and improved security. His appointment followed the redeployment approved by the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Diso, as part of efforts aimed at reinforcing internal security operations and strengthening policing nationwide. Ohago succeeded CP Adebowale Lawal, who recently completed his tenure in the state. In a statement issued by Police Public Relations Officer DSP Abayomi Jimo, the new police commissioner was described as an experienced officer with vast expertise in intelligence-driven policing, crime control, public safety, and operational management. According to the command, the commissioner had served in several operational, investigative, and administrative positions across the country during his over 3 decades in the Nigerian police force, earning commendation for discipline, dedication, and effective leadership. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, Ondo gets new CP vows tough stance on crime. Yes, still taking headlines from the Old newspaper. No terrorist base in Southwest, says DHQ. And now to the details. The defense minister has said terrorist groups have not established permanent operation bases in Nigerian Southwest, insisting that recent attacks in Oyo State were isolated criminal incidents. The clarification came after reports allege the presence of entrenched terrorist bases in Southwest, particularly following the Oyo incident. On the 15th of May 2026, a total of 32 victims, consisting of 25 students and 7 teachers, were kidnapped after a terrorist attacked 3 schools in Orire local government area of Oyo State. Reacting in a statement, the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, said the attack did not reflect the existence of a permanent terrorist structure in the region. He further added that earlier clearance operations in the Old Oyo National Park had significantly degraded the capacity of criminal elements operating within that axis. Onoja said, and I quote, the Armed Forces of Nigeria wishes to categorically address recent media reports and public speculations suggesting that terrorist elements have established a permanent operational base within the Southwest geopolitical zone of Nigeria, particularly following the attack in Oyo State. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Old newspaper with the headline, No Terrorist Base in Southwest, says DHQ. Yes, and now quickly to sports. On the Old newspaper, 22 years after Arsenal win Premier League title after Manchester City draw. And now to the details. Arsenal were crowned Premier League champions yesterday night after Manchester City, fading title challenge, finally collapsed in a 1-1 draw against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Mikel Arteta's side secured their first league title in 22 years without kicking a ball after City failed to win a match they needed to keep the race alive until the final day of the season. The Gunners will have finished runner-ups in each of the past 3 campaigns and a 6-year wait for major silverware and complete a remarkable turnaround under Arteta. Arsenal had moved to the brink of the title on Monday with a narrow 1-0 victory over already relegated Burnley, opening a 5-point lead over City with 2 games remaining. The recent resurgence, featuring 4 consecutive league wins without conceding, proved enough to get over the lines. For City, the result capped a bruising few days in which the club celebrated FA Cup success while simultaneously confronting growing uncertainty over Pep Guardiola's future. Just 48 hours after competing a domestic cup double by beating Chelsea at Wembley, reports emerged suggesting Guardiola would leave the club at the end of the season after a decade in charge. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Open newspaper with the headline, 22 years after, Arsenal win Premier League title after Manchester City draw. Yes, and quickly I take a flight to the Daily Post newspaper from a Benue speaker that Joe withdraws from APC House of Assembly primary election. And now to the details. Former Speaker of Benue State House of Assembly and lawmaker representing Boko West constituency, Honorable Isant Dajo, has announced this to withdraw from the All Progressive Congress primary election for the State House of Assembly. In a statement released through his media officer, Dajo said his decision was prompted by allegations of serious irregularities and absence of transparency that reportedly characterized the ongoing APC primaries in different parts of the state. The former speaker stated the reports emerging from the exercise conducted so far clearly showed that the process had been manipulated. He further alleged that in some locations, result sheets were allegedly completed before voting commenced, while in other areas, electoral materials never arrived at the approved centers, even though winners were later declared. The job maintained that taking part in the assembly primaries under such conditions would amount to endorsing an exercise that lacks fairness, credibility, and democratic standards. He, however, expressed appreciation to his supporters, delegates, party members, women, youths, and stakeholders across Boko West Boko West constituency and the entire Boko local government area for the trust and support they have showed towards its leadership aspiration. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, former Benue Speaker Dajo withdraws from APC House of Assembly primary election. Yeah, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Arrest Ahmad Gumi immediately. Adeyonju tells Nigerian government. And now to the details. The Nigerian government has been urged to immediately arrest controversial Islamic cleric Ahmad Gumi over his alleged inflammatory comments on the rising security crisis in the country. Activist lawyer Deji Adeyonju made the call recently amid a viral video of the clergy allegedly defending bandits. In the video, Gumi could be heard saying that Fulani herdsmen are going nowhere, stating that they are part of us and we are part of them. We must live with them. In a post on his Facebook page, Deji said terrorist sympathizers should be treated as terrorists, stressing that only in a failed state people like Gumi can survive. He wrote, and I quote, people like Gumi can only survive in a country without a government. Terrorist sympathizers are terrorists. His words in action promote terrorism in Nigeria. I call on the government to arrest him to serve as a deterrent to others. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Arrest Amat Gumi immediately, Adeyonju tells Nigerian government. Yeah, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Father begs IGP's intervention as son remains in kidnapper's den 6 months after. And now to the details. The family of Mr. Otibe Asian in the Department of Theatre Arts, the University of Uyo, Inioluwa, has appealed to the Inspector General of Police, Tunji Diso, to intervene in the rescue of their son abducted since the 2nd of December 2025 and a 500,000 Naira paid as ransom. Asian, a 300 level student from Obio Etoi in Uyo local government area of the state, reportedly went missing from home after he was called by his friends with the phone number 09066935225 on a faithful day. The father of the victim, Pastor Inioluwa Adekoya, told newsmen in Uyo that the above cell phone number called Utibe, and he went out to see them at an undisclosed location and never returned home to date. They said the abductors called him on the 3rd of December and demanded 30 million naira ransom and later reduced it to 500,000 naira, which was hurriedly paid to a Money Point POS account number 563133749 with account name Uzo Onua Enterprise Bank on the 13th of December 2025. However, the boy was not released as expected. He said after the payment, the kidnappers did not call him or other family members and nothing was heard from the son. Asian explained that before the ransom was paid, the crime was reported to the anti-kidnapping unit of the Akwa Ibom Police Command on the 5th of December 2025, while a statement was duly obtained by one Mrs. Jumbo with the phone number 08063171321 and an investigative police officer IPO assigned to follow up on the kidnapping case. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, Father begs IGP intervention as son remains in kidnapper's den 6 months after. Yeah, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. Nigeria losing its humanity. Peter Obi reacts to beheading, raping of elderly woman. And now to the details. From a governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi has condemned the brutal murder of a teacher and killing of an elderly woman, describing it as appalling and devastating. Writing on his X platform, Obi stated that certain events can shatter society to such an extent that words fail to convey shock, It said the brutal murder of a teacher and the appalling rape and killing of an elderly woman are among these tragedies. A father stated, and I quote, "This occurrence are not isolated but indicative of a more profound moral and social decline. How did we arrive at this point? How did we come to a situation where teachers are pursued and killed, and the elderly guardians and memory and wisdom endure such degrading violence? This transcends to a mere insecurity issue. It represents a failure of our collective humanity. We have grown desensitized, briefly consuming tragedy, and then moving on, permitting indifference to make the unacceptable seem normal." If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, "Nigeria losing its humanity. Peter Obi reacts to beheading, raping of elderly woman." Yeah, still taking headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. EFCC arrest ex-Power Minister Saleh Maman. And now to the details. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arrested former Minister of Power, Saleh Maman, following his recent convictions and sentencing by the Federal High Court in Abuja for alleged financial misappropriation during his time in office. The EFCC chairman, Ola Olukoyede, confirmed that Maman was arrested at about 3:30 a.m. on Tuesday. He was reportedly apprehended in Kaduna alongside two individuals said to have been shielding him from authorities. The residence where the arrest took place is also under investigation by the Anti-Graft Agency. He served as Minister of Power from August 2019 to September 2021. He was sworn in by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 21st of August 2019 after being nominated by Buhari and confirmed that by the Senate. On the 1st of September 2021, Maman was sacked by Buhari and replaced by Minister of State for Works and Housing Abubakar Aliyu. In May 2026, Saleh was convicted and sentenced to 75 years imprisonment for fraud and money laundering involving over 33.8 billion naira by the Federal High Court of Nigeria. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Daily Post newspaper with the headline, EFCC arrest ex-Power Minister Saleh Maman. Yes, the program is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. It is a program where we preview and review news making rounds in the papers for your listening pleasure. The time has come for listeners out there to call in to throw 1 or 2 cents to the conversations making rounds in the papers this morning. But before we do that, we will go on a short break. When I get back, we will take calls and give you more headlines making rounds in the papers this morning. Yes, glad to have you back. Like I said earlier, the program you're onto is in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. The time has come for you listeners out there to call in for comments and contributions to any of the news read out to you. The number to call is 0816 552 4699 0816 552 4699. And you can also watch us live on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at iPower 1027 FM and on X at iPower 1027. And now quickly to the Punch newspaper, talking abduction or your private school owners, old prayer, seek enhanced security. And now to the details. The National Association of Proprietors of Private Schools have called for increased security presence around schools and vulnerable rural communities following the recent abduction of teachers and students in the Hahoro Easternly community and neighboring areas of Ogbomoso in Oyo State. The association made the call during a special prayer and intercession program organized by private school proprietors across the 5 local government areas in Ogbomoso Axis on Tuesday. Speaking on behalf of the association in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, the district secretary Olawale Ojewumi, the public relations officer Tokpa Olaniyan, and the district chairperson Bosede Ajala said the disturbing wave of attacks on schools has created fear amongst parents, teachers, and school owners. The recent reports that victims were abducted during coordinated attacks on Baptist Nursery and Primary School, Yawota Community Grammar School, and LA Primary School is Isiele in Orire local government area of the state on Friday around 9:30 a.m. However, the association on Tuesday said NAPS wants to use this period to urge the federal government, the Oyo state government, and security agencies to urgently strengthen security architecture around education institutions, especially those located in rural and vulnerable communities. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, Abduction or your private school owners, old prayers seek enhanced security. Yeah, still taking news from the Punch newspaper, talking 2027. ADC predicts earthquake as Turaki PDP killers Jonathan. And now to the details. The Tanimu Turaki SAN-led interim factional National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has screened 12 governorship aspirants ahead of the 2027 elections while granting automatic clearance to former President Goodluck Jonathan as the party's sole presidential aspirant. Chairman of the PDP RNWC Screening Committee and former Vice President Namadi Sambo, represented by former Niger State Governor Babangida Aliyu, made this disclosure while answering questions from newsmen after the screening exercise in Abuja recently. Reacting, the African Democratic Congress said Jonathan joining the presidential race will alter the country's political circulation and trigger fresh strategic thinking across party lines. Jonathan, who served as president between 2010 and 2015, was reportedly granted a waiver on Tuesday by a PDP screening panel headed by Aliyu, paving the way for a possible return to the presidential race. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the headline. It is with the headline 2027 ADC predicts earthquake as Turaki PDP class Jonathan. Yeah, still taking news from the Punch newspaper. Talking El-Rufai and ICPC chair confirmed tapped conversation, says witness. And now to the details. The trial of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai over alleged treason and breach of national security resumed at the Federal High Court in Abuja. At the sitting, a prosecution witness told the court that the National Security Advisor and Chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission confirmed the authenticity of a conversation allegedly referenced by El-Rufai during the television interview. The prosecution played before the court a 43-minute interview granted by El-Rufai on Arise television, during which he allegedly claimed that a private conversation involving the NSA Nuhu Rabado had been intercepted and forwarded to him. The former Kaduna State Governor is facing an amended 5-count charge over alleged unlawful interception of communication involving the NSA and alleged threat to national security. The federal government, through the Department of State Service, accused the former governor of unlawfully intercepting communications contrary to the Cyber Crimes Prohibition, Prevention etc. Amendment Act 2024. According to the witness, investigators subsequently interviewed Rabado, who reportedly confirmed that conversation referenced by El-Rufai took place between him and the ICPC chairman. The witness added that ICPC chairman also confirmed the discussions after portions of the interview were played to him. In a broadcast played in court, El-Rufai allegedly defended the interception by arguing that government routinely monitor communications. The prosecution further told the court that the program anchor, Chris Aniagolu, activist lawyer Deji Adeyanju, and cameraman attached to the station were invited for questioning as part of the investigation. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Punch newspaper with the headline, El-Rufai NSA ICPC chair confirmed tap conversation, says witness. Yes, and I'll quickly take this on the Nation newspaper. This is coming from Amechi. It says, I did not buy farm to be Atiku's running mate. And now to the details. I am in the presidential race for the ticket. Former Rivers State Governor Chibuku Rotimi Amechi insisted. According to him, suggestions that he should step down for former Vice President Atiku Abubakar are uncalled for. Amechi, Atiku and businessman Ayatuddin Muhammad picked up nomination forms for the presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress ADC. The race narrowed to the three of them following the withdrawal of the hopefuls, Peter Obi and Rabiu Kokonso, from the party. Amechi, a former Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly and ex-Minister of Transportation, said in an interview, he said, and I quote, there is nothing like consensus for now. The party leaders have not had any meeting on that. Everybody is preparing for the party election. Amechi also firmly ruled out accepting a vice president slot under the arrangement with the opposition coalition. He said, and I quote, "Please stop that. I did not buy a farm to be vice president." Amechi argued that Nigeria's current economic and governance challenges require experienced but energetic leadership, noting that many leading political figures are already advanced in age. If that news aligns with your interest, it is on the Nation newspaper with the headline, "Amechi, I did not buy a farm to be Atiku's running mate." Yes, the program is still in the papers on iPower 102.7 FM. Like I said in the beginning of the program, I told you that we would be having our in-house political analyst throw 1 or 2 cents in conversations making rounds in the papers this morning. A beautiful morning to you, Akin Adebayo.
Good morning, and thanks for having me on the program this morning.
You're looking ravishing as always in your brown attire.
Yeah, thank God.
Right.
You're looking sweet as well.
Thank you very much. Yes, moving on to the order of the days, beginning from the Nation newspaper, where we've got this coming from Amechi, and he has this to say. He said, "I did not buy form to be Atiku's running mate." It seems that there have been rumors that going around that he should step down for Atiku, as Atiku and another person, they were the 3 nominees for the presidential race for the African Democratic Congress. What is your take on this?
Well, thank you very much. To start with, well, for Michi to have said the statement, I think it really means business.
Yes,
now, I was privileged to actually listen to his interview yesterday, and I was indeed convinced that, yes, it appeared this guy is really prepared for the presidency. Yeah. That is one. Secondly, you must equally know that even build up to 2023 primaries, in fact, during 2023 primaries, when others were stepping down, Amici never stooped down for Tinubu. He went all out there and he contested with Tinubu and actually came second. Now, you're not saying that somebody of that nature should not step down. It is practically impossible. That is one. Secondly, Amechi, 8 years speaker of Rivers State, 8 years governor, and 8 years minister. So this is a guy that is equally vast. He has the experience. He has what it takes as well to govern the country called Nigeria. And of course, the idea of, that the presidency must remain in the south is what most of them actually, pushing here. Yeah. For instance, now, Peter Obi has just gone into a memorandum of understanding, or probably the NDC zoning formula actually favored the southern part. And Peter Obi is the only one that has picked the form of presidency at the NDC. Which simply means that people, this is Southern in Nigeria that's advocating that, of course, they still have 4 more years, either to be spent by Tinubu or to be spent by any of them that want to emerge, but that the southern part of the country still has 4 years, because the northern part, they just spent their own 8 years during Buhari's era. So for me to have said that he didn't buy the form for him to step down and become vice president, he has made a valid point. But he equally made a statement that the party is here to discuss on that. And I think that speaks volume. We never can tell. If actually the party now come to the agreement that, okay, she step down for, Atiku, it's possible he might now step down, but for now, the form he purchased is for the presidency and not for him to step down for any person. But as time goes on, they just still wait and see. Politicians, they are unrepentant optimists. They are very, very optimistic. They are optimists rather. They are very, very optimistic when it comes to their ambition. Right. They can all go out there to make sure that, okay, this is what it takes to actually emerge. So be that as it may, let us just keep our fingers crossed. Let us begin to sit back and fold our hands and watch how event unfold itself. Maybe Atiku will now bow eventually to the pressure for him to actually support Atiku or not. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time. Time will tell. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, moving on to this very interesting one from the Daily Post newspaper. And this is coming from Inioluwa, as he has come out to say that arrest Ahmad Gumi immediately, because there was, in a controversial video, Gumi was saying that Fulani herdsmen are going nowhere, and he said they are part of us and we're part of them, that we must live with them. So Deji has come out to say that people like Gumi can only survive in a country without a government, and he has advised the government to arrest Ahmad Gumi immediately. What is your take on this?
Thank you very, very much. Number one, you must equally understand that Inioluwa is a lawyer and equally an activist.
Yes,
that is one. Now, Gumi mentioned Fulani herdsmen. The question is this. Fulani herdsmen, they've been in this country far back the Sumandan Fodio era, and they've not been giving us any kind of problem, if not recently. So, Gumi never said, should I say, the jihadists or maybe the terrorists. He only said Fulani herdsmen. If you go out there now and you see anybody wearing cow, what's that person? Is a headman. So that is justice. So the word Fulani herdsmen these days have become so cumbersome that cannot differentiate who is a terrorist, who is a bandit, and of course who is indeed a genuine Fulani herdsman. So to me, the adjective is cumbersome. So Gumi cannot be arrested because he said Fulani herdsmen are part of us. He never mentioned terrorists. He never mentioned bandits. He never mentioned kidnappers. He never mentioned that those people that are killing people are our brothers. No, he said Fulani herdsmen. And that was why I started the example of you going out there and seeing somebody rearing cattle. He's a headman. You understand? So you cannot say that he should be arrested because he's doing his legitimate business. But I think Inioluwa would have done it real good in this country if only he had said that Gumi should be arrested on other charges. For instance, him to have gone to see the terrorists in their various camps, for him to have negotiated, for him to have been saying that the government cannot prosecute them, that they are brothers, as in the bandits. It would have been a more viable point for the enemy to push, and not him saying that Gumi should be arrested because he said Fulani herdsmen are brothers. Indeed, they are brothers. Indeed, they are part of us. Anybody you see riding cattle is a headman. So you cannot, because of that, arrest Gumi, but it would have pushed a more formidable force compared to what he's pushing at the moment. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much for that. Yes, still talking on the Punch newspaper quickly. Let's take this one from El Rufai, as it says the NSA ICPC chair have confirmed the tapped conversation, and it says that it's at a sit-in, a prosecution witness told the court that the National Security Advisor and chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and other related commissions have confirmed the authenticity of a conversation allegedly referenced by El Rufai during television interview. What is your take on this? I've been over and over again since he came out to say it live. Why do they always have to overstretch all those rulings and for days and days and days before they actually come to a conclusion on what judgment to give?
Well, thank you very, very much. That is the problem we have in Nigeria, our judicial system. For crying out loud, this was a man. I watched the interview live. That is one. Secondly, was not the first about the person that actually conducted the interview, Charles Anagolu of Arise TV, and the cameraman that covered the event as well, and also this DJ Inioluwa. They were at the DSS office to actually testify against Nasir El-Rufai. You see, when we begin to drag a case of this nature or a matter of this nature, it becomes problem, and that is the Nigerian system of man no man. You understand? That is why you can see people standing in for Rufai to be granted bail. What El-Rufai did, in fact, is a treasonable offense. For you to have said that you tapped the phone of the NSA, National Security Advisor, just like saying that you tapped the phone of the president. So based on this, I think the judiciary needs to actually make sure that they conclude their matters, the proceedings on this matter, and dispense judgment as appropriate, not this prolonging, not this overflogging of the case in the court. So the judiciary will be doing us a real good if only they can be more proactive, be more responsive, and be more fast in disposition of justice on this matter, rather than allowing it to take long more than necessary. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much.